Without further ado, I would like now to transit you immediately to session 3, because we're following the session denomination from yesterday. It's a session on planning, design, and delivery safety for all, and I have the great pleasure to welcome Emanuela Stocchi as the moderator of the session. Emanuela is the Director of International Affairs of IRF in Italy, but she's also the chair of the AISCAT Permanent Committee on Road Safety. She has active roles in IBTTA and PIARC. I think she's well known to all of you, and I couldn't think to a better person to moderate this conversation today. So, Emanuela, I'll call you to the stage and hand it over to you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. I had a problem in my connection. I hope you hear me now.
Yes, we all hear you and see you well. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Sorry for this inconvenience. Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Susanna, for your introduction and for the key highlights of this first day, very intense as I hear of the IRF annual meeting. Well, this morning we start with a session dedicated to road safety, and I think this is also very timely because just 4 days ago we celebrated the World Day remembrance of the road victims established, as you know, by UN resolution dated in 2011. And yesterday I had also the great opportunity, and also Susanna was delivering a video message. I had the opportunity to speak in a PIARC event in Italy on road safety, considered as a shared responsibility for everyone, the road operators, the car manufacturers, users, public officials, citizens, all together. In this session today, as you see from the slide, I have the pleasure to moderate a distinguished panel of experts. David Shelton, a senior transport specialist with the Asian Development Bank. Ricardo Lobo, global head of innovation with Aleatica, and Gernot Sauter, I hope I pronounce your name in the correct way, senior regulatory affairs specialist with 3M. With them, we will try to cover strategic planning technique, innovative design methodologies, and effective implementation strategies in order to ensure the well-being and safety of every individual. I pause here. I don't steal more time to the speakers. I invite David Shelton to take the floor. David, we know that the Asian Pacific region holds the majority of the world's people, and it also has the majority of death and injury from the road incidents. So with many nations in this region working hard to address also the remaining poverty and improve life opportunity for citizens, the need for safe mobility is very important, is growing rapidly. So you will outline the innovative approaches of the Asian Development Bank to support its developing member countries with these challenges. And please, David, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Emanuela. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody who's joined us. Congratulations to IRF on the conference. Allow me, if I may, to share my screen. Okay. So firstly, let me just a couple of introductory words. In the first decade of action on road safety, 2011 to 2020, we really saw the building of awareness across the Asia Pacific region. Sadly, we did not see a lot of action, and perhaps even worse, we did not see reductions in trauma overall. In the current second decade of action, we're really starting to see some growing momentum, and we're certainly seeing through the bank different and far more energized discussions happening with our developing member countries, which is hugely encouraging, and we hope that that will also lead through to greater investment, both through the bank and, of course, most importantly, through the governments themselves. So I'm going to speak today about a few topics. I firstly wanted just to briefly outline for you some of the key challenges that we face across Asia. These will not be unique, by the way, to Asia and the Pacific, but they are certainly, I think, unique to low middle income countries. Second, the strengthening of ADB's commitment. What are we doing at ADB to put some real meat on the bones behind that commitment? I'll talk a little bit about that. A little on innovation in our investing modalities. On capacity building, we're doing a huge amount, and then closing out with what we're doing to support monitoring and other supports to tracking progress in road safety across the region. Okay, firstly, challenge number one is, of course, the road system standards. Like so many countries, many of our developing member countries have inherited roads which are simply not designed for their current use, and they're dealing with rapidly increasing motorisation, vehicles of all different types and sizes, and their road networks are simply not up to the task, or perhaps more importantly, it's very challenging to bring them up to standard at the same pace at which development is happening. We see in particular that the standards are low for our most vulnerable road users, pedestrians, bicyclists and motorcyclists. Our second challenge is low levels of safe system thinking. Many of our countries are still very much caught in the blame culture, that road safety is a matter of behavioural responsibility of road users, and it's simply through education that we will solve that problem. Of course, we know that doesn't solve the problem of road safety. We have plenty of evidence of what does, but shifting our thinking as managers of the road system towards safe system thinking doesn't happen overnight, and that's a long journey that many of our countries are starting on and working through at the moment. Our third challenge relates more broadly to governance, and this is one that really causes difficulties across many public outcome areas. In road safety, we know that good governance saves lives. It's shown in this graph through the World Bank's effectiveness ranking of governance. However, of course, those who have operated in high-income countries which have got strict governance controls, particularly around the quality of investment decisions and the oversight of outcomes being achieved, we know that good governance definitely contributes to what we can achieve in road safety. And then fourthly, there is a severe gap in our understanding of road safety across many of our countries because of missing data. You'll all be familiar with the World Health Organization's estimates for death and injury across the world. These are often quite contested by governments who report much lower levels of death and injury. The reality is we have substantial amounts of data missing from our record, which makes it difficult to understand the true nature of road trauma in many of these countries, and of course, to quantify the true value of investing in road safety. The Asian Development Bank, along with our partner banks, have made a direct commitment to improving road safety. This was in 2020, and we are in the process still of putting some real meaning behind that here at ADB. Perhaps most importantly, we have recently released a consultation draft of revisions to our environmental and social framework. This is the highest order of policy statement that oversees the priorities around how we go about poverty reduction and economic development investment through the bank. Right now, the Asian Development Bank's environmental and social framework does not specifically address traffic and road safety. In this revised version, we're picking up 4 key elements to make sure that there's a clear accountability with our client borrowers to ensure that road safety is adequately covered in projects. Of course, we support them to do that. We're also helping them to focus on the monitoring and tracking of incidents, the renewal of fleets, and of course, the impacts of road construction works on surrounding communities and road systems. That'll be a significant increase in the policy framework at ADB that allows us to follow through with further critical guidance for our projects in our developing member countries. We hope that'll go to the board probably in the middle of 2024. In response to that, we are putting together a road safety good practice note. This is a guidance document for our project officers and for our developing member countries as to what we know works in road safety, how to build that into projects, and how to ensure that our projects actually deliver the outcomes and benefits that we're targeting. This is quite a complex document, as you can imagine. It's simply not acceptable nowadays to produce one very large volume and expect people to reference it, particularly those who are project managers working under intense pressure. They need quite a bit of hand-holding and directing to make sure they get to good quality decision-making for inclusion in their projects. So the knowledge management side of this piece of work is quite critical to make it work. There's a good body of what we know works in road safety, but getting that to decision makers at the right time of decision making is our challenge. And ADB is increasing its investment overall, increasing financing to unlock in the order of $100 billion of new financing over the coming 10 years. Of course, that's going to help enormously for us to invest in climate investment right across Asia and the Pacific. A lot of that, however, will go into transport. Some of that will go into roads, and it offers a massive opportunity for us to improve road safety right across the region. On innovative financing, I'm demonstrating here through just one project of which we hope to see many more of. This is a project that's been developed alongside the World Bank with the government of India. This is a road safety incentive program in which the national government takes out a loan, which then goes to the state governments as grants as they achieve specific outcomes through their investment in road safety at a state level. The intention here is to incentivise improved road safety management right across the SAFE system. So all elements of the SAFE system get addressed through this quite innovative approach. There's a key range of output indicators that are directly linked to the payments that states are able to receive under this program. It's very exciting work to be delivering. It does take a lot of planning and preparatory work to prepare, but we're hoping to use this as a model for investing in road safety for an increasing number of jurisdictions. In financing innovation, we have a number of individual projects that are doing novel things in road safety with our developing member countries. Just a small number of examples here. We have a contract soon to be let on the applications of technology for low-cost collection of data for the monitoring of national progress against the global safety performance indicator targets. These are the same targets, the 12 that you see in the global plan. The challenge, of course, we have for our countries, as I say, many don't have basic crash data available. It makes it very difficult to report their progress against the SPIs. So we're looking at using technology to help us rapidly collect that data or surrogates of that data to be able to monitor progress. There could be monitoring progress of, say, average speeds across the primary network, but it could be the safety ratings of the network that carries 75% of traffic, that sort of thing. Helmet wearing, another example. Second project here is being conducted in Central Asia, an attempt here to better understand the interplay between climate action and road safety action. Intuitively, we believe that road safety action is good for the environment, but of course there is information and data around that tells us that that assumption is not always the case. And also we understand that there is plenty of things happening on the climate front that definitely have impacts on road safety risks. So we're trying to quantify and better understand that and to develop a methodology that helps us to assess those risks in an increasing number of countries. And the third example project here is a first of its kind residential development program for road safety management for Central Asia. This is going to be conducted in February next year, and we're hoping to set the foundation for what will be an annual event for increasing the dialogue, training and capacity of those in key decision makers in government across Central Asia. Capacity building, I wanted to mention here, again in Central Asia, the Enhancing Road Safety for Central Asia Regional Economic Cooperative Member Countries Phase 2 project. As it suggests in the title, this is the second round of the CARIC Road Safety Program. The program has now delivered a huge amount of capacity building and knowledge products across the member countries. And we're seeing increasing uptake of those products and increasing engagement in dialogue around road safety and governments taking their own initiatives. So it's a terrific contribution to what has been a growing engagement in road safety, which is building over time. It's also an illustration that capacity building is certainly not a one-off exercise, but something we need to invest in over years and years. This particular phase 2 has delivered a round of very high quality road safety engineering manuals, trainings related to those manuals, a number of other knowledge products, and trend analysis work as well. Very well received by our member countries. We've also done some assessment of crash data management across countries. Here's an illustration for 3 countries where we have assessed the different stages of crash data collection, collation, analysis, and distribution, rating in a simple star rating here, the performance of 3 different countries. Just one interesting point out of this, we see, for example, in Mongolia, they have superb crash investigation skills and practices in Mongolia, which was a real surprise to us when we saw it. It's all paper-based, but really quite state-of-the-art. They include crash reconstruction in that work. But of course, the results of that are not readily available because there are no simple systems to make them available to a wider audience outside of the police crash investigation team. Road safety capacity maturity assessment has been carried out across our South Asia countries. Illustration here of the performance, comparative performance across 3 of those countries. It tells somewhat of the story that we are starting to see. A lot of activity in India, a desperate need for escalating work in Bangladesh, and Nepal equally facing some real challenges, particularly with motorcycle use. We now have a methodology through this process that we'll be applying across other countries in the region. And on the monitoring and progress assessment, the sort of flagship investment from the Asian Development Bank has been the Secretariat for the Asia Pacific Road Safety Observatory. The observatory has been established by a group of international and regional organisations, as you can see through their logos here, and it's currently funded by the government of Japan through the Japan Fund for Prosperity and Resilience across Asia and the Pacific. It is entering what is its second phase to escalate its benefits to its members. There are 27 members at the moment, as you can see here. There are another 27 countries who we still hope will join. Perhaps most importantly, the largest population countries across Asia are not yet members of any observatory. And until they become members, the whole enterprise of regional observatories really hasn't captured the critical majority of death and injury globally. I mentioned the growth phase that APRSO is going into. It's illustrated here where our intentions over the next 3 years is really to escalate the value that we can deliver to our member countries to apply, to develop and apply good quality data to the challenges and problems of road safety management. Okay, I'll leave it there. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, David, for your presentation. I see that already we have questions, but I would rather prefer to give the floor to the other speakers and then to go into the questions. You highlighted very important initiatives from the Asian Development Bank. These are road safety good practice note, the building capacity building, and you said also something very important, increasing the investments from the Asian Development Bank for these countries, because as you say in the beginning, providing mobility is safe mobility is also trying to eradicate the extreme poverty in these Asian countries. So thank you very much for your contribution. And I invite now to take the floor Ricardo Lobo. Ricardo, you will focus your presentation on the innovative strategies to improve safety in highways operation. You represent Aleatica. Aleatica is a global group very active in the field of road infrastructure worldwide and very committed in road safety, especially with the Global Road Safety Foundation. You will also speak about that. So Ricardo, you have the floor. Thank you.
Grazie mille, Emanuela. Let me share my screen. Okay. One moment. Yes, we have the presentation now. Let me share. Okay. Thank you, Emanuela, again for your kind introduction, and thanks IRF for the organization of the event. And I would like to present you how road operators contribute to a safety road and a safety environment. We aims to follow the way looking for reducing victims and injuries in the areas where we have assets. So in this presentation, I would like to pass over 5 topics. The first one is Aleatica safety first pillar. This is our foundation inside Aleatica strategy, the 360 strategic plan, and focus on the safety first plan for the users, the first responders, the communities, and the agencies, and also I would like to present our nonprofit Aleatica Foundation and its role play in safety. And well, we will end with a highlight of innovative safety initiatives. So well, with a specific vocation to reduce accidents, Aleatica with IFN, it's our first shareholder, decide to put safety first as the main pillar of the company, with the mission of taking care of people, regardless of whether they are our clients, collaborators, subcontractors, and communities in the area in which Aleatica has a presence. The rest of the pillars of the company are also important and essential to ensure that the security or the safety pillars fulfill its missions. So the remaining 5 pillars are the social and environmental sustainability, the service excellence, compliance, and passion for the team. As Aleatica has a presence in very diverse countries, cultures, and road developments, to carry out this mission, we need to have an implemented a safety first plan in the company for roads operation. So yes, we have a plan, and a plan without leaving no one behind, because we work in the same way for employees and for the contractors, with continuous improvement projects. As we will continue to follow up on the job hazard assessment or the near miss platform, the programs also related to employee empowerment, that is important to attract people to our safety first pillar, and so we work increasing the the leading indicators, the KPIs, in order to contribute to improve the preventive nature of the organization road safety. So the next slide, we are going to focus the presentation in road safety for first responders, customers, communities, and agencies. So what we do in the safety first plan to have an impact for these first responder customers, communities, and agencies. Well, we work in these two fronts, the front of the business unit and the side of the Aleatica Foundation and ONG. All Aleatica in the first side, the Aleatica asset, we implement an ARP, an accident reduction plan, and that is defined with the safe system approach for infrastructures, vehicles, and mobility. In the case of the highway, we look for a highway that forgives. About all, we think a highway may focus to reduce death and serious injuries overall, and innovation is focused to this death and serious injuries, because we think we must develop gradually all the strategy in the timeline of our plan. So we think this is an innovation compared with the traditional focus of the road safety. As a part of Aleatica Foundation, we can support each other to work in more disadvantaged areas, launching training campaigns, monitoring road safety outside our highways, not only in our roads, supporting tactical urban planning that improves road safety, and also we are rewarding those initiatives that support road safety for all with our We Are All Road Safety annual awards in the foundation. Well, the Aleatica, or focusing in the Aleatica Foundation, we have a good news. We have just turned 1 year old this November, and we are proud of the great reception it has received in its first year of life. Aleatica Foundation in 2023 has developed innovative programs that I have just told you, like the road safety monitor that supervise the road safety progress, the road safety training we are giving for agencies and for first responder, the road safety for tactical urbanism that I have told you, and also the awards. And for 2024, as a member of the Global Alliance of NGOs for Road Safety, Foundation Aleatica will host this year the Latin American Forum, and we are going to leader and study of several surveys in Latin for road safety, and also I would like to remark that we are launching a driving license point system study for Mexico. We think the experience here in Spain with this kind of driving license system improve a lot the road safety and have a very good numbers in the reduction of sinistrality. So I would like to tell you a little more about some of the initiatives that make a difference when it comes managing road safety, and that are giving certain results, mainly among our collaborators and subcontractors. But we also have a very good response in user and reducing the accident in our roads. So the first one is a road safety management system that we develop in our company, and I think it's important to have one. The companies that we are on the field, and it is an innovative system that combines and integrates safety procedures and standards with the accident reduction plan, the ARP, and also it's combined with our reporting system that will include within this new year a model for managing the road safety budget. We think we must put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and it's important to remark the safety budget in Aleatica for 2024 that we have just approved. Have more than the 50% of the major maintenance in safety. So investment, as David told in the previous conference, is very, very important to reduce the accidents. So the next activity I want to remark is the recognition program for our operation teams. Our field workers have a recognition program that rewards and incentivizes them, encouraging to continue improving the road safety tasks for everyday work and for everyone. We feel they are working better, and they are more committed to road safety. Well, the last two innovative initiatives that I want to tell you a little more is for reinforcing road safety are the innovative reinforced road safety training. We are improving the training of our workers and subcontractors, and I think all the people involved in roads, because this is a continuous process that requires new training methodologies. We are adapting to the new environment and the areas where we are working is not the same the work we develop in Latin America and the work we are developing here in Europe. So we are also having different models and simulation methodologies that are capable of improving the assimilation of new safety concepts in road safety or operation. So last but not least, I would like to remark these road safety campaigns that we are considering these campaigns with the holiday periods. These campaigns aimed at user driver health, vehicle inspections, etc., carry out in that period with greater traffic demand, and therefore when there is a greater concentration of accidents. If we focus in this period, we can reduce this cause accident. We can penetrate in more population, not only in our daily user, also in all the population that move in holidays periods. So these two initiatives are a clear example of how to innovate in road safety culture. That we know that the road safety culture must be a pillar also in the areas where we are or we have present in Latin America, and also we can make step-by-step progress here in Europe also. So we adapt our activity to improve safety on our roads, for being more sustainable for the planet and for each individual involved in the mobility. I would like to transmit this message, and we are also able to collaborate, answering any question, and I don't know if anyone of the safety team of my company is here, but they are the ones who really know about this. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ricardo, and really congratulations. I know the activities of the Fundación Aleatica. You said road safety for all, and this objective of the foundation to increase road safety management capacity through this positioning, communication trainings, and also partnership. So thank you for your presentation. And we move now to Gernot Sauter from 3M. Gernot, you will present to us a key topic for the road infrastructure sector, and especially for road safety. You will indeed speak about better signs for safer roads, so better signs to improve the visibility, the clearness of the message, the readability for the user. So Gernot, you have the floor. Thank you.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Emanuela. And good morning to the audience. I need to hurry up with my talk. We're running a little late. However,
I'm sorry, Gernot. I think there is an echo. At least I hear an echo.
Oh.
I don't know if the technician can help.
Is it anybody else hearing an echo too?
Yes, but I am wondering if it's because Emanuela is not muted.
Maybe.
Try.
Maybe you need to mute the other speakers.
No.
Gernot, if you're using another device, you need to make sure that you close it. If you're using...
No, I don't. Is we still in the echo?
Yeah, it's a little bit loud. Maybe lower down the volume. But we can hear you. It's clear. Thank you.
Okay. So I'll start. I will not switch to another device. Better signs for safer roads. So I try to introduce you into the subject of the traditional road traffic sign and why it is still relevant and what the performance expectations are for such signs. First, some of my background and the background of 3M, my company. So actually, we are the inventors of retroreflective shielding, making signs visible at night to the motorists. and that's decades ago, back in 1939. Since then, we innovated and we developed and we improved the performance level with microprismatic sheeting, now in its third generation that we call diamond grade DG3 in full cube technology. In 2008, we introduced digitally printed, durable road traffic signs, so another step to move us into the digital world. Yeah, to show the topic, you see here this beautiful picture of nice and visible stop signs, one of the best examples, because this kind of shape and the color is so distinct that around the world everybody would understand the meaning and the relevance of the sign and what is expected from the motorist to follow that sign, kind of the action, regardless whether it's stop or any other language or how it's written, in what letters it's written. All motorists will understand that, but only if they can see it. And you see some of the signs here in these examples are a little faded, so probably could be replaced. However, if you look at the nighttime picture during darkness, it's very different. And this is really the level of retroreflection that kind of makes the difference from a sign being very prominent and standing out of the environment, from signs that completely disappear and are not functional and will not really serve their purpose. Let me introduce you to some of the trends, future trends and ongoing today trends that influence the visibility of traffic signs. And first, of course, it's the available light. So the light that travels from your car headlamp to the sign and then is retroreflected back to the driver to become visible and effective for the driver. And there's quite some development. So the light sources have greatly improved. There is a lot more power output now from HID and now LED headlamps. However, relevant for the task on seeing signs is the distribution of the light. And that's not really positive to illuminate where signs are located, because modern headlamps, and you see that on the right-hand side and on the lower side, they use projector optics. They project all of this available light towards the pavement, because there is a glare limitation to prevent glare to oncoming traffic. And that's why these modern headlamps actually project the light in a very sharp cone down to the pavement, making less light actually available to see signs. And we have quantified that. There's research available from the University of Michigan. And you see, comparing headlamp data from 2011 to 2019, you see that trends for more sharp projected light is ongoing and is reducing the visibility of signs. So we see, depending on the sign location, we see a reduction from 12 to 20% just over this 8-year period in US headlamp beams. The same trend is also active and relevant for Europe. To counter that less available light signs, actually, you can improve the retroreflectivity of the sign, like to remain the same or retain the same performance levels and visibility of your sign. Another trend of us is our aging society. Maybe not so much in all parts of Asia, certainly in the US, in Europe, our population is aging. And on top of that, elderly people remain an active lifestyle. So they go to the golf course, they go meet friends and families, they go to the bridge tournament, they keep driving, they stay on the road. And we know all these deficiencies that develop over the years with elderly people, that their vision is reduced. They simply need more light. They need more time to process information, so it should be easier to see and recognize the relevant information in the road network. But also on top of that, you can really quantify that a 60-year-old needs 4 times more light or 4 times brighter signs compared to a 20-year-old. Light pollution. We have the development in light sources. sources. That also means there is more effective street lighting. All these LED light sources that are very energy efficient kind of contribute to the light pollution. We have a cluttered environment, and research has been done by Paul Carlson on that topic. And to counter the effect of more visual complexity of billboards, street lighting, more traffic around you, shop fronts that are illuminated, to counter that effect, you have to increase the traffic sign luminance, make the traffic sign really stand out of that cluttered environment and that light polluted environment. And then finally, kind of that's a first outlook into the afternoon session, session 5, on how digital infrastructure and physical infrastructure connect. Just one idea when we look at the physical road traffic sign that's out there. Our vehicles today are already communicating with that, with their machine vision. And it's not so much the fully self-driving car that's kind of limited in its relevance today, but what's happening already in the market, what's out there, what is a reality today, and which is in the car fleet and in the car population today, is assisted drive. So camera systems in your vehicle that will detect, like speed limits, for example, and they will display that speed limit into your vehicle. And then modern cars today, they even have adaptive speed control. So they read the signs out there in the physical infrastructure and then adapt the speed of your vehicle, depending on the posted speed limit. So there is this interaction. Also for navigation. 20 years back, people thought, oh, maybe we get rid of guide signs. We will no longer need guide signs because everybody will have sat-nav. And they will all have their GPS unit in the vehicle, and they know how to maneuver the car and find the way. That's not really true. Actually, the modern sat-nav GPS units today, like shown on the right picture, they show the scenario in front of you, and they kind of replicate the guide sign that you see, simply to help motorists find their way, find the right lane. They truly show the physical guide sign that you see in front of you, simply to help improve navigation. So there is this interaction ongoing, and that means that the physical infrastructure remains relevant, must be maintained, must be at a reasonable, good performance level. 2 research studies on that subject. This is maybe the most populated and difficult to read chart. However, I'll try to show you. We have, on one hand, we have 2 curves here. We have this blue curve and we have a yellow curve. And both kind of represent the demand luminance of drivers. So how much light or how much brightness drivers expect from a traffic sign to be able to read it at a reasonable good distance. And with distance, so you drive up to the sign from 200 meters over 100 meters, we have data down to 50 meters, and on the Y scale here you see the expected luminance to be able to read sign. However, the blue curve, and that's the traditional old curve that many planners have based their decisions on, that was evaluated in a static environment. This is not driving your vehicle, but this is sitting in a laboratory trying to read certain messages at a given brightness level. But that's static. That's not reflecting the reality. What drivers really need is the yellow curve up here, because then their mental stress is much higher, because they are driving the vehicle. This is in a dynamic setting. When there is a driving task, you must find your way, you must maneuver your vehicle, you must look for obstacles. And aside of that, you try to find the relevant information on the road signs and read and understand that on top of the mental stress you already have while driving. And the expectation for the brightness of signs is much higher in that setting. That's the yellow curve. And now if we match that with available brightness from traffic sign, and we look at the different performance grades of retroreflective sheeting, we look at the green dots, and that's kind of the traditional introduced in the 1970s, glass-beaded sheeting in the type 3, or in Europe it's an RA2 class 2 level, and it does satisfy the luminance expectation, however, only for the static experiment, not for people really driving and being mobile and being dynamic. If you want to match the performance expectation for the dynamic setting, actually, you should use the best performing retroreflective sheeting, which is type 11 in the US, or it's class 3 level in Europe. And that performance actually is a nice match. The red dots here is a nice match to the expected luminance level for a road sign in a dynamic setting, in the driving environment. Another reality check here. This is research from a sign upgrading, sign replacement initiative in Albuquerque, and whether improving the performance of road signs, whether that actually has a real benefit in road safety, whether it can improve road safety in reality. And Albuquerque did the sign upgrading from the existing road sign to the highest performance level retroreflective type 11 or class 3 sheeting, and they did that in different sections. You know, it's typical US cities, they'll lay out in the grid, and they have replaced block by block. So they had control sites with the existing signs, and they had the new upgraded signs in another block, and could compare really real accident data. And if we look at the daytime situation, that's on the left chart here, between before and after the treatment, it's flat. And even you see an increase here, but it's not statistically significant. And that's expected, because in daytime, the effect of the retroreflection will not be relevant. Now here we look at the nighttime situation, or during the hours of darkness. And there's just one significant effect happening, and that's this blue curve here. We see a drop in road accident that is statistically significant, could be proven, and that is just on those, what they call the treatment sites. So those blocks or those road sites that had been improved in road safety, that had new road signs put up in good performance level. Well, this is more or less flat, this upper curve. So the control sites that were not upgraded did not change in accident data, but there is a significant effect in reducing road accidents when improving the road sign. To summarize, high performance traffic signs remain important, both for human drivers, but also for the machine vision. And then the latest developed highest performance full cube retroreflective sheeting has proven to be effective to reduce crashes in the real world. And then based on light pollution, all roads with medium to high complexity levels and high ambience around should be equipped with signs in that full cube technology. So thanks for attending this session, and I'm open to take questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gernot, for illustrating all the activities and the challenges related to better signs for safer roads. You were also mentioning the European Union law. I know that there is also a group on the European Commission exactly on the science, on the road science. So thanks a lot. We ran out of time, but I would like to see in the chat. Actually, there are questions for David. David, I see that you already answered directly in the restricted chat, but maybe it's useful also for the whole audience. There was a question from Brendan and also another attendant asking if you can further elaborate on road safety and climate. So if there are situations where these two societal goals do not go hand in hand. And also, I think a very interesting question of what technology are using in Asia to collect road data. So, David, if you can just elaborate a little bit on that. Thank you.
Yes, certainly. And just very quickly, I know we're out of time. There is really no excuse for any of us not to understand the relationship between our actions and climate outcomes. In road safety, there is a lot of expectation that whatever we do on road safety is going to be good for climate. This is, we believe, not necessarily the case. It may generally be the case, but if we want to improve road safety, it's going to take a lot more work and effort. It's going to take a lot more financial input. It's going to take a lot more medical care, a lot more technologies in vehicles, a lot more technologies in roads, and all of that produces greenhouse emissions. I'm not saying we shouldn't be doing these things, but we do have to understand how we're investing, if you like, our climate capital to achieve road safety outcomes, and what we need to do to try to reduce that over time and improve the alignment. So that's the first one. I wanted just a technical example, I guess, of that is that roundabouts, for example, are sort of unilaterally going to be good for road safety, but the research is telling us that they tend to be slightly positive or slightly negative on climate. So one shouldn't just assume that they are fully aligned, I don't believe. Anyway, we're doing some research to try to put some quantification behind that. The question on what technologies we're using for safety performance indicator data collection, we are using a whole raft of technologies because the SPIs in the global plan span a broad range of outcome areas, whether it's helmet use, traffic speeds, quality of infrastructure. So we'll be using satellite technology, we'll be using LiDAR, we'll be using AI analysis of video and that sort of thing. So a combination of technologies will have to be used. It'll also be dependent on how well developed these technologies are in the target countries around which we're generating the data. Thank you.
You're on mute, Emanuela, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry for that. I'm multitasking. I'm following chat, emails, and etc. But okay. So we have also questions in the chat, but we ran out of time. And so thank you for your time. Thank you for these excellent panels. You will see all the presentation, and of course you have the contacts of the speakers. So a virtual round of applauses. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Goodbye.